I realized after I
Good morning, and welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And I'm Susan Erkart Brown, a practitioner here. And we are starting our service right now with a beautiful 2-minute silent meditation. So I invite you to close your eyes, take a nice cleansing breath, and then just go into that deep space within until you hear the bell again. So I just invite you to come back in, creating a beautiful feeling tone for our service today. And personally, I'll just have to say it's wonderful to see people sitting in the seats in the sanctuary today. So welcome. And I'd like to introduce Kenneth Cozy Harrington and the Fierce Deb Santa Maria for our opening song. Let's give them a hand.
Good morning, everyone. And good morning to you all out there, wherever you may be. Please join us as we sing this opening congregational song. If you don't know it, it's pretty simple, so you can catch on and sing along. And it's called Return to Me. Return to me. Return to me. With every breath, return and begin with me. With every breath, return to love, return to love. Return to love with every breath. Return and begin with love. With every breath, return to joy. Return to joy, return to joy, with every breath, return and begin with joy, with every breath, return to peace, return to peace, return to peace, with every breath, return and begin with peace, with every breath, return to me, return to me, return to me, with every breath, return and begin with me, with every breath, return. With every breath, return. With every breath, return. And now I would like to introduce Maureen French.
I have to make sure to put the mask on the microphone first. Good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living family. It's so nice to see you here in the sanctuary, some of you, but also it's nice to have you all on live stream. So hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach spiritual principles and practices that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all of life. Welcome to those of you joining us via live stream. For those of you in the sanctuary, like we used to do, we can wave to the live streamers, like old times. Welcome to those of you, a very special welcome to those of you who are sharing the live stream or here for the very first time. We are very happy to have you. If you'd like to connect with us and know more about the center, please be sure to go to, or to email Constance Chapman, our administrative coordinator, constance@oaklandcsl.org. She'll be sure to get you hooked up with all the information needed to participate in this wonderful center. Let's now take a minute to bless our children, wherever they are. We honor all our youth and children in our community and the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you for being in our lives, and so it is. I have just a few announcements this morning. Next Wednesday, practitioner Teresa Gardner is continuing the theme of Pulled by Vision. Meditation is at 6:30, and service starts at 7. Wednesday services are going to continue ongoing through Zoom so that people can contact or have contact with the center through live stream or Zoom and be able to participate in those spiritual set songs that we have. Next Sunday, August 1st, is our grand opening, so make sure that you bring your masks and be sure to share with people if you're ready to hug or not. We'll be practicing social distancing and making sure that we are following the CDC guidelines. Sunday prayer room, or what we also call as upper room, will be right after service on Zoom. The Zoom link is on the homepage of our website, oaklandcsl.org. Reverend Savanna Riker will have a workshop today after service. It's called If I Were Brave. It's today from 12:30 to 3, and it's in the social hall. It costs $40 and pre-registration is necessary. On September 4th, Reverend Jeff's memorial service will be held here at the sanctuary. Be sure to go on the website to RSVP so that you can get more information about this wonderful event that actually Reverend Jerry and the practitioners are planning for. So looking forward to this wonderful service. Are you interested in remembering Jeff out in nature? One of his most favorite thing, natures and rivers. You can go ahead and do that. On September 17th through the 19th, there is going to be a rafting trip hosted by our very own Janine Perry, along with Santa Rosa folks, Krista McAtee and Janet Dupree from the Santa Rosa folks that really knew Rev Jeff well. They're hosting this, and it's not affiliated with the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, but you do need to contact Janet Dupree to be able to get on her list to get more information. So go ahead and give her a call at 707-478-7300. So one of the things that I really missed about Oakland Center was the bookstore, also /gift store. So do you have a vision for this bookstore? Do you want to participate in helping to expand the bookstore? Please be sure to share your ideas and your interest with Linda Weinman. She needs help with ordering, keeping track of inventory, requests, and budget. While not required to be a cashier, this person must be willing and able to take on cashier responsibilities and troubleshoot problems in the bookstore. Please be sure to apply with Linda Wyman at bookstore@oaklandcsl.org. She looks forward to hearing from you. And as always, if you want to stay connected with what's going on at Oakland CSL, please visit our website, oaklandcsl.org. And now for the vision and mission statement. Can we all stand like old times? All right. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are welcoming an inclusive spiritual community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. And so it is. Thank you. And now I'm going to reintroduce Susan Erkart Brown.
morning again. So, our readings for this morning, and if you want to take them in by closing your eyes, go ahead and do that. The first reading is from Ernest Holmes. There is a center in you that always knows. Develop the consciousness that flows from this center, for it is the secret place of the Most High within you. And the second reading is from Paramahansa Yogananda. God is just behind my reason today and every day, and is guiding me to do the right thing always. So taking a breath, breathing in the message of these readings this morning, knowing that that very center of the high Spirit is within us in every single precious moment, filling us with joy, with peace, with hope, with love, and so much more. Just taking a breath into that space and knowing that right here, right now, at our beloved center today, that we are coming together in spirit and in person to share this love, this peace, this knowingness, and reconnection with each other once again. And I am so grateful for that. And I bless this service knowing that it is already whole, complete, and done magnificently right here and right now. So all there is to do is to let it be and say, and so it is. Amen. Z and Deb Santa Maria.
Hey, I'd like to say a little bit about this song. It is one with new thought in mind, and it was co-written by our own Deb Santa Maria, the fierce Deb Santa Maria, and Sharon D. Henderson, and it is called If I Believe It. If I believe it, I can receive it. I can change my life with just a simple prayer. Oh, if I believe it, I can achieve it. I take it to God and I will leave it there. If I can accept the fact that my life is outpicturing all of the thoughts and the things that I believe, then I must change my thinking. If I am to change my life, I'm gonna say this one prayer. Lord, help my unbelief, and my life will be changed. If I believe it, I can receive it. I can change my life with just a simple prayer. Oh, if I believe it, I can achieve it. I take it to God and I will leave it there. You know, Jesus said in the Word, it is done unto you as you believe, and by your own faith you are healed. So if you just have faith, the size of a mustard seed. You can lift up thine eyes unto the hills and just release and let go. 'Cause I know if I believe it, I can receive it. I can change my life with just a simple prayer. Oh, if I believe it, I can achieve it. I take it to God and I will leave it there. Believe it, yeah, and receive it. Believe it and achieve it. If I believe it, I can receive it, and I'll change my life with just a simple prayer. No, if I believe it, I can receive it. I can change my life with just a simple prayer. Oh, if I believe it, I can achieve it. I take it to God, and God will change my life. Don't you know God will change your life? God will change my life. If only I believe. Yes. Ooh, thank you. And now, our own beloved Jerry Carter. Yes.
Thank you.
Deb.
Thank you both. You're amazing. You have graced our space in such a beautiful way. So pleased to have you both here. So I'm Reverend Jerry Carter, minister. And I'm so thrilled today, as we've been preparing for this special guest, who is not really a guest, who is part of this spiritual community in such a big way. I'm here to introduce our beloved Reverend Savanna Riker. She's gonna teach us today, and she's going to do a fabulous workshop today, and we're so happy to have her.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, my goodness gracious. Good morning, Oakland Center. It's so good to be back home. I'm trying to see, where's the camera? Okay, there you are. Hi, everyone. Oh, there it is, right there. Good to see all of you in Facebook, YouTube world. And I want to just be in this for just a second, because like many of you, I have not been in the sanctuary for, a year and a half now. And it seems a little surreal. We have an altar here set up for Reverend Jeff that's so beautiful. And the stained glass windows, there's a peacefulness about this place that we all love, that's part of what makes up this spiritual community. And so I want to say thank you to the board, to Reverend Jerry, for having me back here. I'm super grateful for the team, for all the technology that makes this happen. We've learned a lot in the last year and a half about technology and what is possible with what we can do in reaching people out in the world. And it's just good to be here. So my talk title for today is all about how we are being pulled by a vision right now. We are pulled by a vision, and the question that has been coming up into my awareness is the question of commitment. When we commit to something greater, oftentimes everything unlike that thing shows up for us to heal, to know, to reveal to ourselves, to learn from. All sorts of things come up for us to shift. And the question I've been asking myself is your commitment greater than your resistance? Because when we set that intention and we put it out into the universe, all the stuff that we need to heal comes up for us to see. It's when a challenge comes up, when it's some unforeseen situation, obstacles show up before us, it's like the universe is asking us, are you really committed to that thing that you say that you want? Are you really committed? For years, I have had this vision of where I wanted my life to go. I've had every vision board you can imagine. I've taken all of Deborah's workshops every year. And on that visioning board, I have had similar themes throughout of where I thought my life was going to go and what I wanted to create. It was this vision of being in spiritual community, but also having a ministry that is broad, that is out in the world, that is reaching lots of people. I could see myself doing radio and TV and podcasting and teaching and creating an online platform that reaches more people outside of the brick and mortar churches that we have here. And when I went to Seattle, as many of you know, what took me there was this opportunity to step into a new way of leadership, of a collaborative ministry, which is what is, I would say, a very rare thing in our organization. And the options for many ministers, as you may know or not know, is that we are often either put into two categories. We're put into a category of you're here in the pulpit and you have a church. You might be an assistant minister or a staff minister, or you have a special focus ministry out in the world. And I always felt that I really didn't have a solid place. Like, where do I fit in? Where does the ministry that I seek and desire fit into this model? And so I thought, well, like any pioneer, you create it. You create your own model. But what I didn't know was that this community in Seattle had what I was looking for. And even though people in the organization, like Dr. Roger Teal, who is my home minister in Colorado, or Dr. Ken Gordon would say, yes, but we need ministers in the pulpit. We need young life in the pulpit, which is in fact very true. But it was not true for me. It just felt like a lot of pressure. And so what we're seeing right now throughout the organization, because of COVID, because of the challenges and the loss that many have experienced in spiritual community, you're going to see, and we have seen, lots of churches have not made it. Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is very fortunate that we have this incredible space and so many people willing to step up to usher in what the vision is for what's coming. Because so many churches right now are really hurting. It's asking us to look at the models that we have and how we can sustain them if we want spiritual communities like these to continue. And so back to this story of these visioning boards that I have collected over the years and created, I didn't know how most of that was going to happen other than, well, God will provide it. The plants, or the seeds rather, have been planted. And so what would happen is, because I was so stuck in the need to know how, I couldn't see the good. I would distract myself by unhealthy relationships, toxic jobs, just putting my energy in places that would keep me from commitment, from clearly committing to my path and my vision. My confusion often kept me from that commitment. It kept me in distraction. It was easier to play small and to not be big and to fulfill my purpose and my dream, even though that vision was pulling on me and has been for years, than to take a leap of faith. I had a coach once say to me, Savanna, your confusion is your lack of commitment to the thing that you say that you want. you notice in your life that more often than not, sometimes we resist our good. We resist what is possible because of the stories that we might have made up about ourselves or about our worthiness or our deservedness. And it actually tells the universe, yes, okay, I want more of that, which defeats what we really say we ultimately want, right? And so it's part of the evolution of us becoming more spiritually conscious. When I made this decision to move to Seattle, I was driven by this understanding. My commitment to my path and my purpose was greater and had to far outweigh any resistance that might have shown up in my experience. There was something deeper. You know when you're called to make a decision and you know that you've got to make the decision, and there's growing pains that you know are going to come with it. There's storming that always happens in lots of change and discord. But there was something within me that knew that I had to go and to fulfill my purpose, which meant that I had to commit. And it has. Being in this spiritual community up north has really cultivated a certain spiritual maturity in me that I didn't even know I was going to be stepping into. So much of what we learn is on the job, right? And so I've come into my own in a different way. I have a deeper trust for life. You know, it got me out of a life that, to be quite honest, wasn't really serving me. It was time to up-level and to engage in something greater. And with great change comes grief and comes loss and re-identifications. It means we have to create new stories. It means we have to have new beginnings. And we know that in this community here right now, with Reverend Jeff's passing. It's almost surreal being here because I wasn't around, you know, like many of us, we were at home, but I wasn't even in the vicinity when all of that storming was happening. And so 2020 was about shedding. And what it reminds us is that with any transition, there are going to be things that we want to keep, that we want to keep around, and there are definitely going to be things that we are going to want to let go of that might not serve the greater vision of what wants to happen in here. And it's about a consciousness for the new, of keeping some traditions alive because they're what makes the tapestry of this incredible space and community, but also holding a vision of what is the legacy that this community wants to share and to leave. For young ones like myself, I still consider myself fairly young in this organization. And the good wants to appear, we just can't see it yet. And as a community in flux, you know, people are starting, as we know, to come back to this spiritual center. We're thinking about the future, new leadership, new culture. And I gotta say that I too am going through my own unknown, just as this community is. You know, a decision was made recently by my community up north that they would have to end my contract as assistant minister as of the end of this year because of COVID, because they don't have the financial resources right now to carry me through for the next year. And so it's been a huge disappointment, not only for my community, but for myself, of course, because we just didn't know what was gonna happen a year and a half ago when I arrived, you know, we had no idea. But what's been so incredible about it is that I have been able to learn new skills. We've all had to learn new skills of how to adapt to being on a computer screen, talking to what feels like a total silence, you know, of no engagement. We've learned so many things. And what I also know is that it was a huge blessing to my community because they had no idea how to do live streaming. And here we are, our young millennials coming in with our cell phones and saying, here, you can stream on an iPhone, right? Helping one another. And so my time in Seattle has been for an absolute purpose. Everything has unfolded the way I absolutely know that it has had to. And what it's also asking me to do is it's pushing me towards all those vision boards that were calling me to up-level in my life, calling me to commit to a greater idea of my purpose expressing. And that is exactly the same thing that is happening in this community right now. What does this community ultimately want to transform itself into? Not the 20 years of the past, because we're right here in this now moment. What does this spiritual community want to transform into? And of course, there's going to be resistance. There's going to be those growing pains as things start to shift and they develop. And we might, as a community, experience an array of emotions, as we all have this past year. But the beautiful thing is that as this village, we get to choose how we want to go through this process together. And we can be in joy and hope and excitement. And if you can't get to joy, hope, and excitement, you could get to willingness and a curiosity, perhaps. Or you can stay in resistance to how it's been, which we know through experience that, and Reverend Jeff would say this, that there are all things to a season. There's a season to all things. You cannot be in resistance and flow at the same time. It's about what Abraham Hicks talks about, being in that downward stream, the downward spiral down, because everything that you want is downstream. It's not fighting upstream. It's the art of allowing. It's the practice of releasing resistance and allowing the energy that creates incredible worlds to happen through our lives. Why? Because we are eternal. We are eternal beings. If you think about the water, since the water seems to be an analogy up here this morning, if you think of the water, you're on a river and you're canoeing upstream and it's becoming difficult. Now, if you're in the crazy waves, of course, you're going to have to really paddle really hard to get yourself out of that. But if you think about just you're coming down a river and you're trying to go downstream, but you're paddling upstream. Eventually, what you have to do is let go of the oars so that the canoe can turn itself down to go downstream, to be in the flow. Dr. Michael Beckwith says that the pain of our transformation is in equal proportion to our resistance to life. I find that such a profound quote. The pain of our transformation is in equal proportion to our resistance to life. And I think it's because resistance and sabotage go together. They are a byproduct of the other. We resist, and therefore we sabotage. And resistance is that thing that wants to keep us small. Self-sabotage, I think, is our human way of coping, of fighting or preventing our own liberation and our own freedom. As I was preparing this talk, I was thinking back to about 6 years ago, 2015, when I moved to the Bay Area. Because I was going back in time and thinking about how has everything come to this moment where I'm standing on this stage now. And I remember I had just gone through a horrible breakup across the world. I had just finished ministerial school. I was depressed. I'd moved back into my mom's basement. I didn't know what was next. And as a gift to myself for finishing school, I had already booked a flight to the Bay Area to see some of my spiritual community in the launching pad and to visit Oakland. And when I arrived, Reverend Linda Rapond said to me that a room had opened up in the home of our young adult spiritual community there, and she asked me if I wanted to move in, and I said very boldly, no. I am not going to live with 7 other young adults. I was done with the college dorm situation. But life had other ideas. And the next thing I knew, I'm packing up my car, I'm driving out, I'm moving in, I have no job, and I, at this point, had no church community. I had a ministerial provisional license, and you know, things fell into place so easily. It was like the divine had its hands on every aspect of that entire unfolding. And I remember Reverend Jeff and I met up, and he invited me to be part of this community. I watched the paneling process. I remember sitting in the back and watching all the interviews and everything happened, even though I wasn't a member here and I couldn't take part. And you know, there were lots of ups and downs and twists and turns. There was a lot of growth and there was a lot of integration happening for me. And then life said, it's time to grow again. And it's time to up-level your life. And so the story of how I got to Amazing Grace was nothing short of a magical seed that had been planted for many years. And that seed had just the right amount of nurturing and water, just the right amount of love, enough for me to become more integrated, to become more spiritually and emotionally mature. It was a seed that needed my full-bodied, yes, I'm doing this, my commitment to grow. And so my choice to leave Oakland and to leap into the expansiveness of my ministry, thankfully, was a choice and a commitment. There was no sabotage. There was fear. But there was no sabotage and there was no resistance. And I asked the universe I want to say the December before last, I asked the universe while I was there looking for a place to live. I said, God, please give me a sign that this is where I need to be. And I need a neon bright sign, okay, like the Las Vegas, give it to me. I need to know that this is where I need to be. And of course, life answered. And as I was in the W Hotel in Bellevue, Washington, I turned the corner because I was checking into my hotel room, and I looked right above the elevators, and in a bright pink neon sign, it said, "You're in the right place." It did. Yeah, I know. It did. And my mouth just dropped. And I said to my friend, I have to take a video of this because this really happened. Like, there's proof, that backs up this story. And so, yeah, I have it on video. It happened. I said, okay, God, I'm in the right place, and I see it. And I never could have predicted how my time 2 weeks after I arrived was going to go into COVID. None of us knew this, right? None of us knew how our time was going to be used in this last year. And what was so amazing is that people in this community helped me find a place to land. They, until I found an apartment, they unloaded my car after 2 days of driving and refused to let me unpack it. They brought me toilet paper, because you forget those things when you're just moved into a place. The basic things are like, here, you need food and toilet paper and paper towels. And Reverend Eric, the senior minister there, who just retired himself, he helped me get my furniture and said, I need to decorate, let's go to IKEA. So, everyone came together for this to work. It fell into place. There was no confusion on my part. There was the unknown, there was a new beginning, there was a new chapter, and there was a curiosity, and every step of the way I had to remind myself, Savanna, you have not been brought this far to just fall on your face. You have a purpose, and your commitment to that purpose and that vision has to far outweigh any kind of resistance or thinking of self-sabotaging that there is. It must be greater than that. None of us were brought here by accident. And this community has not been brought this far just to fall on its face. There's so much possible here. And I know there's people in this community who believe that. That's why you're still here. That's why you're still doing the work. You're going through it, and you're going through the storm. And what's incredible is we can say we made it through that storm of last year. There's still work to do, but we made it through it. The community has to come together in ways that we just don't always know or can prepare for. And so now Oakland has this opportunity to relish in that, to see what was it last year that was perfect, that absolutely worked for you in the midst of all the change. It leaves a new story that is wanting to be inhabited by us. And it's going to happen with those people who have enough grit, who have enough curiosity, who have enough hope, who have vision and courage and a determination and a commitment to carry it through of where this this community wants to go. When we choose to inhabit a story, the story will inhabit us. It starts a process of that call. It's what Joseph Campbell talks about during the heroine's journey. It calls us into adventure. It always starts with the call. And so when we build a bigger story, then we activate all the things that come with that story. The patterns that have existed for thousands of generations, for thousands of years, those stories, they start to come alive in us. And so when we look at our work at this Oakland Center for Spiritual Living community, we get to say, okay, what is the story that we are willing to tell, the legacy and the energy that we want to bring to this place? When we start to realize that the vision for the next stages of this spiritual center is a great story, and we are all characters in it. And so the imagination and the work is part of that great big story arc of the invitation. We've been invited to a greater calling of what wants to happen probably in your personal life and what wants to happen in this spiritual community. It means we have to step into a big enough story about what are we doing here? What are we really doing here? It's the place in consciousness. You know, we talk about the three kingdoms of consciousness or the three worlds of consciousness. It's stepping into kingdom 3 consciousness of allowing spirit to happen in, through, and as us. And we understand that that is what's happening with the story that we're creating, that we are inhabiting, becoming part of the feedback loop of that great story arc. There is something I know that called you into this space. There's something that called me into this space. It's that call that we answered when we said, yes, I want to take part in this. I want to grow. I want to become more conscious. I want to become awake. I want to be part of something collaborative and cooperative that works for the good of all. And so we want to recognize that each one of us has work to do, because the work is about finding what our spiritual gifts are and what our purpose is and fulfilling that purpose. We all have a different piece of the puzzle, you know, a world that works for everyone. It's a piece of the bigger picture that's unfolding. And that's what I see for my life now. I see that this opportunity for me to have served the time I've served there, it's almost like I'm closing a karmic cycle or something, that this is what I needed to do, and now it's time to up-level into the next expression of what I am becoming. It's the same thing for this community. Because Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is a signature of a deeper calling. There's a deeper vision that is part of this community. It's in the fabric here. There's something more that is calling us, and this is just the way that it is in this moment. We get to create that. I realized last week, after sitting with this decision and all, coming here and all of this, is that sometimes you have to get to the very top of the hill to just acknowledge that you made it, so that you can see far enough out in the distance. You're like, okay, there's something coming that's next. I'm at the top of the hill right now, and I'm looking out and I'm seeing, okay, there's the next that's coming. I made it this far. It's undetermined, and I don't know yet where I'm going, but I know that spirit, that there's a vision pulling my life. Oakland Center is at the top of the hill right now, asking itself, what is next? What is the next thing that wants to come forward in this community? Can I commit to something greater from my life? Can I commit to being something greater in my life? Can I see that all of this is truly, truly, truly happening for our good? The ups, the downs, the unknowns, the uncertainties, the soft opening. How are we going to open? How's it going to be? Can we just know that it's all happening for good, despite the appearance? I'm sad myself about the ways in which things have unfolded, but I'm also so, so grateful for contrast. I'm realizing that life is calling me to commit to something greater, just as it's calling you to commit to something greater, and to fully inhabit the story that I have been telling for so long. on all those vision boards, and perhaps you have some of your own that you can refer to, is your commitment to your call, to the call, to this community greater than your resistance? That is what I want to leave all of you with today. So let us go into prayer now. Just taking that holy breath in and just being still for a moment. Connecting to your breath and allowing the flow of pure life to just breathe you. You don't have to try very hard. Just allow the presence to be right where you are, because I know that the presence is never an absence. It is everywhere, all the time. This activity of life, of pure infinite intelligence, is everywhere right now. It is the greatest love there was or ever will be. And that power and that presence is holding you right now. It is holding up this community. It is holding up this community with love and transformation, with healing, with wholeness, with opportunity and possibility. And all of those qualities of spirit, they live in this community, and they live in the fabric of who we are as this historical place. It lives within each and every one of us as well. The peace that exists here, regardless of the situation, regardless of the world of effect, whatever might be happening in your life, in the world of effect, we just declare and know that there is a powerful thing happening in your life, that there is something calling you greater than any resistance or self-sabotage or any self-doubt or any self-judgment that might be in your awareness today. We just let that stuff go. And we turn our attention back to the truth that God is all there is. That this power and presence is living as a living thing in our experience, the consciousness that is pulling us forward for whatever it is in the next stage of your life and this community. It's already been planted. We just get to get out of the way and trust. Trust your purpose. Trust the pull. Surrender in and lean in into the curiosity of what life is wanting to tell you. And so, giving thanks for this beloved community, I'm so grateful for our East Oakland Youth Development Center. This nonprofit has been impacted so much by COVID, and so we just surround the parents that are with their children here, requiring a safe place to send their kids while they work. We pride ourselves in providing this safe place for their children to go. We uplift them this day. We pray for our planet, for Mother Earth, for the gratitude for her beauty, for her resilience, our increasingly mindful stewardship of her. I bless the youth and all of the youth of the world. I know that they are guided by love and that they are powerful forces for good right here and now. Blessing all people in this service, for everyone behind the scenes who does so much work, for the hands and the hearts that bring this Oakland community together. I wish love and comfort and healing for all people everywhere who are experiencing any challenges whatsoever in whatever form. I say their names aloud: Tina Marie Scott, John Neville, Thomas Williams Boomer, Grady Noble, all of those who are impacted by disaster or weather or COVID. And just sending our love this morning to Reverend Jeff Anderson's family, his friends, this Oakland community, for we know that his presence is here. For we know that his soul is infinite. And so we leave a space of silence for a moment for you to say any name aloud of someone that might need a little extra love or prayer today. Just speak their names aloud. Let's sing the song together that Deb is playing. I'll lead us. I am remembering who I am. Say it to yourself. I am remembering who I am. I am remembering. I am remembering. Just think of that to yourself silently, remembering who we are, why we're here, to inhabit a new story, a beautiful story, a new beginning, filled with adventure and excitement and hope and inspiration and love, of course, love. And so releasing this prayer into the activation of that love, I am so grateful. I'm grateful for so many of the opportunities that are coming into this community for each and every one of us, for divine right action is happening right here and now. And so we release it. We let it go. And together, let us just declare and say, Ashe, Namaste, and so it is. Amen. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to shift gears here. What helps create this space of abundance in this community is when we realize all that we're given by spiritual community, that we are activating the law of circulation by what it is that we give. And that could be financial contribution, that could be our time, our talent, our treasure. And so, as always, we're going to say this affirmation aloud. So all of you at home, if you're watching, just repeat the affirmation on your screen. You might put your hand over your heart. Let us say this together. This gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. And so it is. So if you'd like to, those of you in the room, if you'd like to give your tithe at the end of service, you can just put it in the baskets, I believe, on your way out. And I think, who's up here? I believe it's Susan. All right, thank you.
I think standing ovation would be great, but is this on? Yay! Wow, I was inspired, really inspired by that. And I'll have to say, I was just sitting there looking at Jeff's boot, his wading boot, and OCSL is wading into the waters with Flo, and all of us together, and creating and recreating our community. And this is such a inspirational talk today. It really spoke to me. Thank you so much. And also, there, just a reminder of thanking you, of course, for being here and attending. And also a reminder that there is a wonderful workshop that Reverend Savanna is offering today, If I Were Brave. So all the brave ones walk right over there. I forgot about this. All the brave ones walk over there. It's from 12:30 to 3. And also, our wonderful, wonderful musicians. Let's give them a big, big hand. Great. So we have our closing affirmation to speak together. Divine Spirit is powerfully flowing as me, and so it is. And thank you to our musicians and our closing song.
All right. Isn't that wonderful to be back in this space, everyone? Isn't it? So we're going to close on a high note, and we're going to sing about waking up this morning with our mind stayed on spirit, right? Sing it on an upbeat. Come on, everybody. Here we go. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Woke woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All day long I'll keep my mind. All day long I'll keep my mind stayed on Spirit. All day long I'll keep my mind stayed on Spirit. All day long I'll keep my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on, everybody. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Stayed on Spirit. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Yes, peace and blessings, everybody. Remember to love more and judge less. We're out. Thank you, Deb.